All right, welcome back, folks. We jumping right in, talking some NASCAR. Hope you all had a great weekend. The boys have raced at Las Vegas. That has come and gone. Uh, and so we're going to talk about just a little bit today before we move on to our final three races of the season coming up. We are running out of time to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about what has happened, though, beginning with our drink of the night, another Pure Life H2O water. We love it. We feeling good with it. Um, Happy Thursday, happy Friday by the time you're listening to this, actually. This episode, I think it's gonna go out to the boys. Okay. I'm rocking my TDK shirt that we rocked in Vegas over this past summer. My first time to Vegas was with the boys. And I'm just a bro's bro. I'm a dude's dude. So love hanging with the guys. And I got a lot of guys that I consider pretty bro to me. So this goes out to all of them. That's what this episode is for. Okay, so to the bros. This episode is Zip It Up is for the boys. Anywho, um, no no newsworthy things we're gonna go over yet. We're just gonna jump right into the Las Vegas recap, which my goodness, I hate to say it, but I was wrong about Denny Hamlin this year. If you go back to my season preview, one of my bold predictions this year was that Denny Hamlin was going to have a down year. Actually, I said he was going to have a disappointing regular season. And that was, definitely not the case. He had a really good regular season. I did think, once he made the playoffs by this time of year, he would probably figure it out and be a threat. That's always been in the back of my mind. In fact, I did pick him to go to the championship 4 at the beginning of the playoffs. We did our Oyster Pub episode, and I had him in the final 4. So he's always felt like a threat to me. Year in, year out, he feels like a championship threat. It's actually kind of crazy that he hasn't gotten one yet. And this definitely could be the season that he gets one. But I just thought that the regular season would be kind of rough just with all his circumstances. I've gone over it several times, and I've been wrong. All year long, I've stated that I was wrong about Hamlin's season. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to get to number 60 this year. Remember last year, he was coming off of just one win. And so I thought he might get a couple wins, but not 6 in one season, and he's not done yet. So I have to admit that I was wrong about Denny Hamlin, and this is not a Denny Hamlin podcast. I just have to call a spade, and I want you all to keep me accountable. I was wrong about him. And again, I was wrong about the season Denny was going to have, but I was right about these playoffs so far, which, to be honest, not hard to figure out. But usually when folks make their predictions, their playoff predictions, I like to throw some curveballs in there, some wild cards, right? I think we had some of the guys picking Bubba to make the round of 8. I think some people pick Hendrick. I think a lot of people could make a case for Ross Chastain being there, just as gritty as he is. However, we didn't have any of those kind of out of the blue kind of stories. The 8 that are in the final 8 are well deserved and probably the top 8 if you were to list them in a power rankings. So we are not surprised by the final 8, and I did get all of those correct. I was 8 for 8 so far. No, not to toot my own horn, because I don't want to be tooting this horn, but Denny Hamlin was one of my championship 4 picks, and so I'm 1 for 4 there. And we'll see how the rest ends up. My other championship 4 picks were Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, William Byron, and so hopefully some of that comes to fruition. Time will tell, and time is running out. We got 2 races left, and so just the way things have gone, Denny has dominated. He leads the series and wins this year with 6. I'm not happy at all about that. And I have to admit, though, I was wrong. So enough of that, though. Um, Here's the thing going forward. The reason he scares me so much is because now he has the ultimate advantage. We all know that whoever wins Las Vegas, that first race of the round of 8, has a huge advantage to go put all their focus and attention and energy into their preparation for Phoenix now. Okay, he doesn't have to worry about what happens at Talladega, and he doesn't have to worry about what happens at Martinsville. And I don't think he's going to go just lay over at either one of those tracks. He might try to make life difficult for some of the guys still racing to get into that Final Four. Um, but he he can do all his prep for Phoenix right now. 2 weeks in advance, 2.5, 3 weeks till that race happens. He's got a lot of time to put into that sim and to start doing their homework. And yeah, it's the ultimate advantage. Everyone says that Las Vegas race is the most important on the schedule, and that's because it can lead to the advantage that these guys have when preparing for that championship race. And this might be the last time that we have just a single championship race. And it certainly won't be at Phoenix next year. We know the finale is at Homestead. So, he's no slouch at Phoenix. I don't think he's won in the next gen era, but he's no slouch. Anywhere you go, Denny Hamlin's more than capable, except the road courses. I'll throw that one in there. He's not very good at the road courses. But yeah, he's gonna be he's gonna have quite the advantage against the other 3 drivers that will be racing at Phoenix for a championship. And that just is what it is. That's why I wanted Hendrick to get this win this past week so bad. However, speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, I am impressed and I'm proud of the speed that we brought to Las Vegas. Look, we've had a season where we just have not been reliable in the speed category when we come to these tracks. And I mean, the 3 guys that we have alive in the playoffs right now, they all brought it. And we qualified well. We practiced well. And we did go execute some races. Now, some executed better than others. Like Chase Elliott sliding through the pit box. That's a no-no. I understand that it's easier to do a Vegas, but this is the time of the season that you have got to get those minor details figured out, and you cannot make an error and a mistake as little as that one. These minor mistakes can blow up. And so that was the first error that they made on Sunday. The second one being the penalty for the tire getting loose from the pit box, uncontrolled tire. That's another thing you just cannot do. They never were able to recover from, and they qualified good, and they raced good. William Byron, man, I don't know what to say about this team. They had a really good season. They won the regular season championship. I mean, that counts for something. They had some races get away from them. They dominated a lot more and led a lot more laps earlier in the season. And this playoff run for the 24 team has not been very impressive. However, they brought it to Las Vegas, and they were impressive, and they reminded us that they belong in the championship contention. Unfortunately, Ty Dillon's a moron, and yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Everyone can break it down as best as they want. I have no experience in this area, but I mean, you got to do a little bit better job of getting on the pit road than what Ty Dillon did on Sunday. With with as much importance and cruciality as there was in the race at that time for who's involved, it's unbelievable that William Byron's great day ended like that. I think the 24 might have had something at the end of that race. But now we will never know. It was a great points day. It was a really good race all the way up until then. And Larson, they did their thing. That's what we expect out of Larson, the 5 team, when they're at Las Vegas. So, I mean, not much more to be said. That's what we expect from the 5 car. 48 car had speed at the end of the race. and they came around. And I mean, he's not alive for a championship, not in the playoff picture anymore. And Alex Bowman was still showing us something at the end. So just really impressed with the Hendrick cars from what I saw. And let me go ahead and throw this in there as well. I didn't see a whole lot live anyway. I was at an event that night. And so I did have my phone on me and I was keeping up with the race. But I got to give a shout out to the checkered chat for keeping the group chat alive. They were keeping me updated through the race. And so, although I wasn't able to watch it live during the race, I was able to keep up through the chat and go back and watch the extended highlights on YouTube. So I do have a good feel for how this race went. And again, I'm pleased with what we did at Vegas and looking forward. Now we have Talladega, wild card track. We know we're going to be pretty good there. I would expect all four of our cars to work together and be, towards the front at points during this race. What we really need is just to survive and get to the end of the race. And that's probably where chaos is going to ensue. And all hell will probably break loose. We just have to hope to survive. After we get through Talladega, then we'll have an idea of what we got to do at Martinsville. I know we can bring it at Martinsville. And mainly that's been the spring race, I think. Blaney has been the fall race at Martinsville kind of guy that you got to beat. But I like where we are right now. Despite the rough playoff run that we've had, coming out of Vegas, a track that, let's be honest, we didn't have a whole lot of high expectations. We exceeded any expectation there was at Vegas. We just had some bad breaks. And now we just move to Talladega. Okay. So let me go ahead and give you each of our guys' statistical analysis from Sunday. And then we will move into a preview for Talladega. But going back to the Vegas race from Sunday, I'm pulling up on my phone. Didn't get a whole lot of notes done this week. The month has been crazy with school and events and all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and begin with, make sure I got this right. Our best finisher was Kyle Larson. He finished second, but he started sixth. So had a good starting spot. He finished second in the first stage, and then he won the second stage. And like I said, he finished second for the race. Really good points day for Larson, and that's what we would like to see moving forward. Alex Bowman finished seventh, but he started the race 12th, and then he did not get any stage points in the first stage. He did finish eighth in stage 2. So Alex Bowman, good day for a guy that has not been in the playoff picture now for a few races and has been struggling. This was a race that this team needed to kind of wind down the season with a little momentum. We'll see if they can continue to build on it this weekend. Next up, Chase Elliott started fourth. Great qualifying effort from this team that has struggled mightily in that area. Now, the first stage, they finished fifth. And then stage 2, no stage points. That's when all hell broke loose for the 9 team. Things went wrong and went south, and he ended up, I think, down a lap and, again, wasn't able to recover. Ultimately, he finished 18th. And then William Byron started this race fifth. He won the first stage, and then he finished third in stage 2. And, of course, Ty Dillon took him out, and William Byron finished 36th in this race. Just glad to see him okay after that. Really, it was kind of vicious hit that he took. So, that one's over. It's behind us. There's nothing we can do about it now. And we got 3 more races left of this season, 2 more to clinch a spot at Phoenix. I would love for all 3 of our guys to go up against Denny Hamlin. That sure would be fun, but gosh, that would hurt if he beat us all. Anyway, let's give you a little rundown of what the point standings do look like. Remember, in this round, we have to finish in the top 4, okay? And we only have 2 races left to get a top 4 spot in the points. If we win, we're locked into Phoenix, just like Denny is. Larson right now is second in the points. He's in a good spot. He is currently, get this right, he is plus 35 to that bubble line. So going into Dega, has a bit of a cushion, comfortable spot for Larson. Next, we got William Byron. He is fifth right now. So he is the first driver out of the playoffs if it were to end today. However, he's got 2 races left to make it happen, and he's at a minus 15-point deficit. So he's got to make up those 15 points. He could do that in the first 2 stages at Talladega. But again, that's something we will look back at next week. And then right below him, Chase Elliott is 6th in the playoffs right now. He's minus 23. And kind of same scenario as Chase. As William. If both of those drivers can go get some stage points at Dega and work together and hopefully make it to the end when we know there's going to be some chaos and maybe some of these other guys that are in the playoffs are taken out, you have to hope to take advantage and capitalize on those errors. And Chase and William, they're both guys that you do kind of expect to go run well at a super speedway. They're more than capable of winning their way into Phoenix this week. But we really want to see the points improve going into Martinsville. If we have these minus 15 and minus 23 point deficits going into Martinsville, that's going to be an uneasy spot to be in. So we hope to cut those numbers hopefully in half. That will help quite a bit. All right. So speaking of Talladega coming up this week, let me give you a little preview of how our drivers have done at Talladega. Look at that. I closed out of the app and I lost my notes. This is why I should just type it instead of having to pull up the app. But Talladega is another good track for us. Let's be honest. We're great at every track. Some better than others. But Dega, always a fun race to watch. And so in the past, Hendrick Motorsports has had an entry in 83 Talladega races. In those 83 races, we have 14 wins, 13 poles, 70 top 5s, 107 top 10s, and we've led 3,105 laps. All of those statistical categories, we have the most out of all organizations in. Okay. So now let's go through driver by driver. Beginning with Kyle Larson, he's been in 21 races at Talladega. No wins and no poles. Super speedways, not so much his thing, but he has improved. This year has been his best super speedway season. So let's see if maybe he gets a pole or maybe gets a win this week. Okay. He does have 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s, and he's led 58 laps. His average finish is 21st. Chase Elliott has 19 starts at Dega. That includes 2 wins and 2 poles. He's got 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s. He's led 216 laps, and his average finish is 14.1. William Byron has 15 starts at Dega. No wins, no poles, but he's got 5 top 5s. He's got 7 top 10s. He's led 119 laps, and his average finish is 13.7. Again, I know he hasn't won at Dega, but we've seen him perform at other super speedway tracks, most notably Daytona, which is the most similar track to Dega. He's won the last 2 Daytona 500s. He could definitely go out and win this race this week. And then Alex Bowman, 19 starts at Dega, no wins, no poles. He's got 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s, 68 laps led, and his average finish is 21.6. Now, as much as I want to see Alex Bowman go out and win this race, it's going to be interesting to see how he performs at the end of this race. Let's say all of our Hendrick drivers make it to the end, 10 laps to go. Is he pushing our guys to victory, or is he bailing on them to get his own win for his own team? Let's be honest, we have to be okay with that. Bowman's out there racing just like the other 30-something drivers that are racing for a win. However, as crucial as it is, I hope he's a really good teammate. He's been a good teammate in the past and pushed a few of our guys to victories. This would be another feather in his cap. I think Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon recognize that in Bowman. And I think they're going to be happy whether he pushes our guys to victory or if he goes and makes his own race-winning move this week. I would love to see Bowman in the mix just to see how he reacts and how he can maybe play a role in maybe keeping another playoff driver from locking themselves in. If some of our drivers wreck out, we need Bowman to go win this race for us in order to keep Blaney or Logano or someone else, from the Gibbs camp to keep them from locking themselves in. Okay. Yeah, going to be an interesting race to see how that 48 car performs. But that's how we look at Dega in the past. Hopefully we look even better in the future. Speaking of this week. Now, let me give you some betting odds so we can consider what's expected of drivers this week. Again, it's a super speedway, kind of a wild card. We all expect Blaney to be the favorite, and that's exactly what he is. His odds are plus 900. Our best odds belong to William Byron, who's plus 1,000. That's good enough for second best in the field. And that's a guy that has never won a Dega. Chase Elliott, right below him. Chase Elliott is plus 1,100 this week. And then right below him is Kyle Larson, who is plus 1,300. Scroll down a little bit and you'll find Bowman at plus 2,250 to win at Talladega this week. Those are the 4 Hendrick guys. I gave you Blaney's odds. Let me give you the rest of the playoff drivers' odds. Gano is also plus 1,000. And then Denny Hamlin, again, he's already locked in, so his odds might be, actually they are a bit more than they should be. He's plus 1,750 this week. Got Christopher Bell is plus 2,000. And then Chase Briscoe is plus 2,250. I believe that is all the playoff drivers right there. So, of course, any of them could win. This is a fun week to put a flyer on a long shot. And so that might be what we do here. If we're going to go ahead and make our predictions for the race, I'll pick a Hendrick winner. I'll pick a non-Hendrick winner, and I'll pick a long shot. Now, before I make these predictions, because this kind of leads me to my Hendrick winner, here's an update on the Oyster Pub standings. Currently, Jeremy leads with 12 points. And that's because this past week he had Byron, who finished 30. Oh, sorry, no. Jeremy has 13 points because Byron did get him a point. Byron finished 36, though. Brandon did get the win. He had Ryan Preece at Las Vegas. Ryan Preece finished 9th, but that was best among our 3 drivers. So Brandon now has 11 points. And then I'm still way down there in lonely last because I took Blaney at Vegas, who was about to have a great finish and give me some points here, but ended up finishing 38th, dead last. And you hate to see that for Blaney as well, but that is just how racing goes. It is hard to predict these things. But coming up this week at Talladega, Jeremy has Logano, Brandon has Larson, and I have Chase Elliott. So I'm going to make that our Talladega winner. He's the only guy from the Hendrick Motorsports camp currently that has a Talladega win. He's got 2 of them. So this week would be number 3 at Talladega for Chase Elliott. And so that's who we're going to go with. My non-Hendrick pick, I think I'm going to go Brad Keselowski just because he's really got no skin in the game and he's really good at this track. This is his last chance to win a race this year. He's not going to go win Martinsville or Phoenix. So I think he's going to bring some fire this week. And we'll see. It's definitely not a bad pick. I'll tell you that much. But you never know. Again, my long shot at a super speedway, I like to scroll way down. I'm looking at Justin Haley. He's plus 4,000. Eric Jones is plus 4,000. These are guys that are good at super speedways and they don't have anything really to race for this week. Noah Gregson is plus 5,000. Nemechek plus 6,000. He was good this earlier this year at the super speedways. Austin Hill's in this race at plus 7,500, but he's in a car that really hasn't proven to be very capable in the Cup race yet. So I would probably go with some of those guys I mentioned a second ago, like Haley, Jones, Gregson, Nemechek. I'll probably put a couple flyers on each of those guys. The one I will land on out of all those guys, um, we will go Noah Gregson. I don't know why. Maybe one of those funny feelings, and maybe I'm misinterpreting the funny feeling. Maybe he's going to finish last, but he definitely could go win this race. He's in a Ford, right? I think he's I think he's in a Ford. I forget which manufacturer some of these guys drive for because they change so much, but I will go Noah Gregson this week. So that'll be my predictions. That's our race preview. This was a quick episode. I kind of like it. Feel like I kind of sped through it, but we got all the important stuff taken care of. We got a lot to talk about, though, coming up soon, okay? Like I said, only 3 races to go. After Phoenix, we will have a season recap. I'm already planning that one. And then I got some episodes that I'm planning for the off season. I'm not going to take a ton of time off. I will take a little bit, kind of refresh and rejuvenate. But, I'm already working on a little bit of a rebrand. We're going to remain the Zip It Up pod, but I'm already working on a new logo and having just some new colors and vibes added, I think will refresh us throughout the off season. So just going to be putting all that together and kind of relaunching, sometime probably in late December or January, to be honest with you. So we're already looking that far ahead, but that doesn't give us a pass for these next 3 races. We still got plenty of NASCAR to talk about. The new game is out, NASCAR 25. If you've had a chance to play it, share your thoughts on it. I'm kind of seeing mixed reviews from people. Looks fun, but I got a PS4, so I'm not going to be able to play that game anytime soon. So as they release information, probably in the off season about what the playoff structure will look like, how the point standings are going to work next year, that will be a big topic of conversation that we will have on the pod. But that's not happening before Phoenix. That's going to happen after we crown this last champion, for the one race championship. After we crown whoever that driver is, then we will move forward and we'll start to get an announcement from NASCAR on what the points will look like. But, as for this weekend, Talladega, all 3 series will be racing. So you will have a truck race on Friday at 4 o'clock. That will be on Fox. Xfinity races on Saturday at 4 o'clock on the CW. And then the Cup race is Sunday at 2 o'clock, and that will be on NBC. NBC has the rest of the Cup races from now through Phoenix. And we don't have anyone driving truck or Xfinity this week. So it's just a Cup race that we're going to be focused on and hope to see some good things happen so that we're in a better position going into Martinsville next week. But again, thank you for tuning in and watching on YouTube or listening wherever you're listening to us through audio. I appreciate it big time. Feel free to interact with our social accounts. And until next week, y'all take care and stay safe, all right?